Adventure is in my blood. Finding treasures big or small and having fun is what it's all about. With my wife Melissa and our 3 kids, life is pretty full. But there isn't a mountain we can't climb together. This isn't your ordinary antique store. My name is Alex Archbold and this is Curiosity Inc. Morning guys. Well, I am back today at the City Services building in Edmonton here because I got an email and it shocked me because it said, we got your business license ready, but you still need to go get a police report before you can open. I got that report, which is kind of weird to me because I'm my own employer. Like, even if I did commit a bunch of crimes, which I hadn't, I'm kind of okay hiring myself. But for whatever reason, I had to go get this. Now I've got to submit it, make sure it's all good. And we're getting down to the wire here. It's only a couple days ago. An hour later, I got my paperwork in that I had to get in, so everything should be okay there. I did get some other good news though. I found out that because my building is now zoned as commercial and so is the neighbors, I can build an auxiliary building right up against my neighbor's wall as long as it has a 2-hour burn rate. So basically that's saying that if it ever caught on fire, it would take a couple hours before it got through the other person's building, which means cinder block wall on that side. When it comes to spring or summer next year, that gives me all sorts of options for things I can do. And they said that if you put the property up and you build a building, there's all sorts of things you could do with it. You could put a coffee shop there, you could put a little restaurant, you could continue on with the store and have more retail space. So I just found out basically that empty spot of land I have has a lot of possibilities that I didn't even know. And this is happening in my yard right now. This fellow brought a ladder. He wanted that birdhouse pretty badly. Badly enough, I guess, that he felt he was gonna pull it down a ladder. I should go give him a hand, make sure he doesn't fall. He actually gave up on trying to get the birdhouse down for now. We went out there, the ladder wasn't, well, he figured it was tall enough, but it's super top heavy. The birdhouse, which you'd expect, I mean, it's all wood. He's gonna come back in a couple days with a bunch of friends and take that thing down. And the reason why I want that thing down is that, well, heck, that might be where a building might go next year. So anything on that side is gonna have to get cleared out. And while we were looking at that birdhouse out back, a box arrived, a mystery box. And I say that because it just says old knickknacks and toys. And I know this fellow had contacted me. He's one of you, he's a viewer from Colorado. And he said, I've got some stuff that we'll happily just give you, which was super kind and super nice. And I feel kind of guilty now because he had to spend $100 to ship it to me. Yikes. Post office, that's a lot of money to ship a box. But let's go through it and see what he sent me. And sometimes people send little letters and words of encouragement and things like that. We don't often expect giant boxes. But I guess in this case, this is stuff that he wasn't using and he thought maybe I'd have a use for it or be able to get it back to a good home. And you know, that's super nice. So thank you. I'm gonna get this thing opened up here and then we'll see what's in there. Okay, well, it looks like they did a really good job packing it. I have no idea what he's sending me. Let's see. A little, first thing is a little blow up Goodyear tire blimp. This probably would have hung in a Goodyear dealership, like a little advertisement. Blow it up and floats around. It's really cool. And I think I'd have a spot for that. I could probably hang that up once it's all blown up from the ceiling somewhere. That's neat. Let's see. Packing materials. Oh, this looks like a little fire helmet. Cool. Not only is it a fire helmet, it's a Texaco fire helmet. Given out probably at gas stations or sold at Texaco stations back in from the green T on there, I'd say back in the 50s or 60s. That's a nice item. Well, I got to see what this thing looks like blown up, and I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen for me putting my lips on this, 50, 60-year-old balloon. Go, it's all blown up. Looks better now. Yeah, see, it's it's looking good, and I only caught a little bit of the plague while doing it. Everything in here is so well packed. Oh, yeah? Dude, this is a Smokey Stover comic book, probably 1930s, I would say. Yeah, this is when, back when,
Little Rascals and stuff?
Well, no, this is the character is Smokey Stover.
Oh, I never heard of him.
Yeah, well, it probably, not all these things survived. But this is the format they call a Big Little book. They're thick, they're small. I imagine many kids probably packed one of these to school that shouldn't have. I imagine the teacher's desk was full of stuff like this back in the day. It's a neat piece. If you look at this, Fire Chief bicycle siren. Still in the original package.
Oh, God.
You can tell that's the old balloon tire bike. Oh, my phone's ringing. Funny. I leave this here so kids can practice phoning their parents on their cell phone and see what it's like to use a rotary, but it actually does work. This looks like a phone. Why am I gonna have to open that up? Here's an interesting piece right here. It's a Fire Chief car with sirens still on it. And this is made by Saunders. It's a plastic company with the friction drive on the front wheels, made in USA. It's a nice piece. This is turning out to be kind of an eclectic box. We've got everything from little Brownie type cameras with the flashes on it. That's a Brownie Hawkeye, to some more modern toys, to some nice vintage ones. And I've only gotten through the first layer of this box, but already I'm amazed that he sent this to me. Just astounding. So from that one box, we got the Goodyear Blimp. I got a couple really cool board games. Fire Chief, the game of mixed up firemen. That's not who you want showing up to put out your fire if they don't know where they're going. All sorts of neat old friction tin toys, little die cast, Matchbox. Yeah, it's almost like my Cadillac, except the ambulance version. All kinds of neat stuff in here. And I just can't believe that this fella sent it. So to Ken, if you're watching, thank you, Ken. It was a lot of fun to go through, and it's gonna have a good home. We'll find some great homes for this stuff. And as I'm working away, putting stock out from this mystery box, a very nice gentleman's popped in, and he's brought me a few interesting pieces, which I think might have a home in the store.
I just thought that some of the older things that I've amassed over the years might be a good home for them here, because this is my old neighborhood.
Oh yeah, and you've got everything from tobacco tins to old
tobacco
trucks.
tins are my main collection item, but I have had country store collectibles like thermometers, different things from bakeries and signs and odds and ends. If it's old, I'm interested.
No, I know, and you were showing me pictures of some stuff. So honey, if you're watching, that's the guy that's about to get a bunch of our money, I think, because he's got a lot of good stuff. But for today, you brought me in a couple pieces, a little new made dairy clock, which is working, has a little bit of a mark on it here.
It's been repaired with plastic, and I didn't want to do anything I cleaned it, and the clock keeps perfect time. The light works in it, so...
Yeah, it's a good starter collectible. And then this, I thought, you know, it's not an overly valuable piece. It's a cardboard sign that would have been in a store just like this. And I think I have a spot for it. With the box of surprise toys put away, I am pretty much ready to open. Our grand opening is scheduled for Saturday, which is just a few days away. And thankfully, I got the last of my paperwork in for the for our business license. That was a nail biter there. He was right down to the wire, but we're all good. I'm going to... I think it's time to maybe do a walk around and show you guys exactly what we did here. The one really nice thing about this space is it does have high ceilings. The ceilings are about 10 feet tall. Now, originally there would have been shelves that ran along the walls and probably some showcases. In fact, we have some historic photos of the building when it was in use, and it was an actual soda fountain. In fact, the neighborhood kids at one point, as a practical joke, painted a crosswalk straight across because the school was just down the way. And the previous owners have done a fantastic job with maintaining the architecture. So we've got the nice wood-trimmed windows, the bay windows are still there. The doors is modern. So really what I'm gonna be doing is looking at trying to find a way to add fixturing, maybe put a tin ceiling in, antique the lights a bit, paint out the wall so it matches the other colors in the room here. They wouldn't have done feature walls back then. But as you can see, there's a lot of good and a lot of potential here. And hardwood floors are in beautiful shape. So really, a lot of wonderful work has been done and makes it very easy for us. The one challenge is the space isn't really a whole lot bigger than what we have right now. In fact, until the back addition is built, it's actually smaller. But we're gonna do a little walk-see. I have a plan for it, and I'll show you why. Now that's a hatch that goes down to the basement. There's not too much to see down there. Little secret staircase, and then that's where the furnace and stuff is. It's not a whole lot going on down there, but I thought one of these days we'll do the full walkthrough in a separate video, and I'll show you what's down in the basement. But you can see it has a nice little bathroom, and I guess if I get myself in trouble with the missus, I've got a full shower and a sink and everything going on in here. So you know, it is a usable, livable space. There's a nice little kitchen. In terms of retail space, I probably will use this to display We'll probably use it as a staff kitchen, but also display antique tins up top and other sorts of things. Nice stained glass fixtures. And look, everybody who said that you should have a window over your sink at the Potter's house, well look, there's a window over the sink. Really not as much to do in terms of renovation, you know, maybe find a way to clean up the electrical panel, the looks of that. There's another little room back here, which we'll have to figure out, you know, what's gonna go in here. Maybe a little office or who knows what. If you notice something, and we're gonna get to that, there's a little patch on the floor. Now that's usually where your doorway would go through so your wet feet don't get your shoes, or your shoes don't get the water from your feet all over the floor and wreck the wood. That's because there used to be a door and there's a whole addition on the other side of the building, and that's where there's gonna be a whole bunch of work right off the bat. Okay, let's see what the back addition looks like now that they've gone through and got rid of the asbestos out of here. I've never actually seen it fully emptied out yet. Wooden steps. A little bit musty, but it's sure a heck of a lot better. See, they've got some spots marked off on the floor. It's nice to see the roof and get an idea of its condition. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, really. I know there's some planking out there that's no good that we'll have to take out, but it doesn't look that bad. It's not good when you can see the daylight through it though, so we're probably gonna get lots of water in here until I get that roof on. It's the original outside of the building with the siding. Oh, it looks like they had, yeah, they had like, you can see where the old addition was. And that's just thin drywall. All it's gonna take to put that back to being a door, and be cutting that out. So the best place to start is probably with the front of the building. If you remember back a while ago, we had Dave come and do this really cool Drury Dry Ginger Ale sign on the side, which is a replica of a 1940s ginger ale that we sold here in Canada. They don't make it anymore. We've got the front all done with my store name up top, which looks like an old-fashioned cola sign. And I think it's about time we go for a walkthrough. Best place to start, going through the front door. When you walk in the door, you're greeted by a 1/3 scale Model T racer with a real working wall 4-cylinder engine. It's a one-of-a-kind piece, and I want that to be there because it kind of sets off the mood that this is a store with some unusual things. We've got our fortune teller Zoltar off to the side, who's ready to talk and give us a fortune at a moment's notice. Some custom made lamps, the old billiard sign, and of course, this was a billiard hall and barber shop at one point back in 1913. They used to have the barber chairs up in the front windows and the billiard tables at the back. So it's kind of fitting to have that there. We've got some of our newer products, some of our fun novelty items, cups, you know, just stuff that's kind of fun and different that, you know, you might want to have for tourists or people coming through. This is fun. We saw this originally down in the US. This company was selling those, and they're a tiny little tire swing for birds. You fill it with bird seed and the birds sit on it. We actually have one of those in our backyard and it swings. It's the cutest thing ever. If you're a guy and you have nose hair problems, or female, anybody can have nose hair or trimming issues. This is an atomic trimmer. It looks like a space ray gun that you stick up your nose or in your ear, and it does a great job trimming, and it's lots of fun too. If you remember these from when you were a kid, switchblade combs. These are little erasers. So just lots of fun little things. And of course, the cabinet that I've used is one that we salvaged from an old general store. This is the back side of the main store counter. We flipped it around because it has all these amazing drawers and hardware, and every single one is full of something. So in this drawer, we've got bicycle accessories. In this drawer, we've got bendy figures. So we've got Batman and Robin and Gumby, and I will have to give these drawers a little bit of wax, but for the time being, they're doing a great job of storing all the cool, fun stuff that we have. And of course, stuff like incense and other sorts of things that are just, you know, things that we stock and keep on hand in case someone comes through looking for it. On the other side, we've got our toy department with some retro fun toys. Everything from the reissues of the old Fisher-Price toys, remember those? What house did not have at least one see and say or the old record players. Finding these as replicas is a great way for not too much money, around 30 bucks or so, to get a classic toy with great play value, and it really gives sort of that retro vibe that we're going for. We're able to use the grain bins, not for grain and seeds like they were originally, but for toys. So it keeps a nice fun area. Kids like to be up near the front of a shop. They like to be near windows where it's bright and happy, and that's exactly what this toy department is, just a fun place for kids. And it looks like the neighbors aren't the only ones who are eager for me to open. This little puppy looks like he wants to come in. You might remember though, that we also did this really big, cool display. This is an old standard electric time clock. This would have been in maybe like high school, and it would have run all the other electric clocks in the school. I didn't have all the guts and pieces for it, so we ended up turning it into a shelving system for our watches. And it's doing a fantastic job. It looks super cool. One of my favorite things I think we've put in the store so far. We've got the Venetian princess here guarding the candy counter. And although we're not a full-on candy store, we don't really want to go down that road too much because we're an antique shop, but we do have a selection of hard candies in the little old-fashioned jars, pretty much just what you would have found back in the old days. Everything from rock candy, remember this style with the crystals, and then you get the licorice pipes, and then the Edinburgh rock candy. So lots of fun stuff. And of course, what better to have displayed in your showcase by Candy, some cool old-fashioned toys and collectibles. And your store wouldn't be complete without Batman and Robin. And we still do have a collection of Mary's pottery. We were saving some of the pieces. I didn't have them priced or for sale at the old store. They are coming out, and I've got a few more pieces to add in, but we have a nice little selection of Mary's pots. Of course, if you watch the Potter's House series, you remember that she was our mystery potter whose home we bought and ended up finding all this wonderful pottery inside of some of the more special pieces we kept back at the store. We have some newer hats and some retro t-shirts and things for people. And as we come along, we see the penny counter that I put together. This was pulled out of that same abandoned store where we got the shelving from, and I did the application of pennies to the top here using glue and Varathane. Turned out really, really good. And behind us, we see we've got a real brass steam train that's standard scale, built in the 1930s by a retired engineer. It's the North Star Line, Pennsylvania Railway. It's a very cool piece, and it does operate on real steam. We've got a fighter pilot helmet, just all kinds of neat stuff. And then we kind of get into our music department where there's radios, musical instruments. There's a Silvertone tube amp hiding back there. So everywhere you look, there's going to be something cool. If you don't recognize what that is the headlight off of a steam tractor. They also use that same type of headlight on a steam train around the turn of the century. It's been re-nickeled. It's in fantastic shape. It's 100% complete. Pretty rare piece in that shape, so it's nice to have. We've got our advertising clock I picked up in Colorado. We've got guitars, all kinds of things. I can't believe that I'm here in this moment right now where this has gone from being sort of a dream and a vision to now a reality. Saturday will tell me if we did a good enough job and if we put together an interesting location for people. I sure hope so. It's been an awful lot of work bringing this together, and I think that it's going to pay off. We're certainly trying to add some interest to the city of Edmonton, trying to add another tourist destination. We've got lots of neat stuff to show people when they come through. I feel like I have most everything ready and set up at the store, except for one thing. This, the lantry bell. So that's it. We're almost ready to open the doors, honey. And you're going to be there Saturday too, right? The whole family's going to be there, in fact. And I guess we'll put you to work doing something. We'll find something for all the kids to do. So tune in to the next episode as we finally put a wrap on this renovation series and finally open our doors. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more episodes. And what do we say, honey?
Bye for now.
That's right. Bye for now.